going on, everybody? It's your boy Save James, and you are here at the Crop Report. And today we're gonna go and do a quarter level chart on gold. All right, I want to show you guys how to label your chart effectively and how to properly break the chart down price-wise, so that you can understand how the quarter levels work. All right, to learn more about the quarter levels and to learn more about Forex as a whole from top to bottom, I suggest that you join the course. You can send me your contact information through the contact part of the website right here on savejames.com, and we'll get back in contact with you with some good information to, I guess, further along or begin your trading career. All right, because the main thing we're trying to do here is create traders and not just teach people how to trade. We want to create successful traders, and not even just that, but just to be able to work on your psychology if you are having any kind of entrepreneurial aspirations. That is the goal here, to be able to learn how to bet on yourself and to understand how important the psychology of learning yourself and your relationship with yourself and with money, how that goes and how that affects your overall definition of what you feel success is. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna just start off, and I'm gonna give you a blank chart. We're gonna go to gold here, and the software that you're seeing right here will be included with the actual joining of this community and purchasing of the actual coursework. All right, this software will be involved. I will also show you guys how to operate this software effectively and efficiently to the best of your ability. All right, so bars right there. Anyway, so this is what your chart, your opening chart will look like if you just open up a chart for any pair on your MT4 platform. Okay, but with this software that we have right here, it has a bunch of different templates that you can use to analyze and to give you a better read on what things are getting ready to do and what has happened, for you to back test, for you to implement strategy, for you to use whatever tools of analysis that you feel is necessary in order to come to a proper entry and exit strategy for whatever pair you decide to trade. Here we're going to use a platform, or I would say a template that I created myself called the quarters chart, and I can show you how to make this yourself also. All right, this is my quarters. This is how I analyze any pair using the quarter level. Okay, so as you see, the pair is going to be all black candles, so that there is no disparity of bullish and bearish, because that can kind of take away from the actual emotion that goes into your patience and how long you stay in the trade based on your analysis. Okay, because if you're in a bearish trade and you see green candles start forming, you can get a little antsy. If you're in a bullish trade and you see red candles starting to form, you can get a little antsy. Okay, all right, so here we have our gold chart here. All right, pretty bare, don't have much on here, but we do have our TDI chart here that we're going to be using as part of our analysis. And again, as we said, we have all our candles all the same color, so it takes the emotion out. Now, in the event that when you guys do get the software, I use this chart here. This is called the 15-minute trading game right here. So this is a chart that I use when I want to make my entries and exits. All right, this is when I will do my my final analysis on, because it kind of gives me it's a very busy, but I need busy charts, okay, because that's going to help me get a full picture of what's what. All right, so we can get into what we see here. We actually see some railroads here, some dojis, some tweezers, tops and bottoms right here. We have our M formation right here. Okay, we have our retest to the level off the neckline of this M that's forming. So we're going to see how it responds to this. Is it going to break past this neckline, close above the 50, and continue on up, because it has a good indication that that might happen, being that yesterday's high was retested. Now as we see it pinned to the 200, it rejected off of yesterday's high almost perfectly to give, you know, a springboard reaction to go into the next push. So we're going to see exactly what happens. All right, now back to our chart to analyze and to be able to chart properly with the quarter level theory. So I'm gonna go to my daily chart, okay, to give a broader view of price action and how things have been working. So immediately, what are going to be my initial points of reference? So what do we have here? We have, let's look right up here. We got the even number of, what is it, 2,000. Start there. Let's make sure we're specific. Horizontal line properties. Boom. Make sure we're specific. All right. Then we go to 1975. Boom. Then we have our 19. And we're going to go to the 50. Now, some people say this is too many lines for them already, but I'm just trying to give you the overall aspect on what I look for and how we look at things, okay? We'll come down here. We have our 1925. Boom. Then we have our 1900. And we got a few more to go because price is at the 1850, hovering around there. So I just want to give you the full run, and you guys can choose to whether or not you want to use all of these points or if you just want to use some of them. Again, I'll show you what the end result is, but again, I just want to lay things out in a way to where you see how things are playing out, how price responds to these levels. That's the main thing I'm trying to do, okay? 1875. Type that in, boom, and we have the 1850, and it seems like a lot on the daily charts, but when you break these down to like the 15-minute and everything like that, it's not as, you're not going to use half these, you're not going to see half these lines on your chart as it is. This is just to give a general aspect of what's what. And where are we at now? I guess I'll go down to 1800 also. See, 1825. Boom. And then we'll do 1800 to finish. So we have quarter levels. That's close enough. All right, so we have quarter levels from 2000 down to 1800. Okay. Now, let's sharpen these up right here to give a specific read on what's what. Let's make this red and a solid line and differentiate it from all the rest. Boom. So that way we know this is a major point to have to, oops, I didn't mean to do that. All right, in 1900, let's do the same thing for that, so we could differentiate where the next whole number is. Because remember, quarter levels is based on the theory of whole numbers. All right, so here, and what's the 1800 I said? Okay. Make this red. Solid and broadband. Bang. All right. So we have our major and minor quarters that we have right now. Okay. So as we see, where is price hovering around? The 1850. All right. So now let's go down to our 4-hour chart. Okay. Our 4-hour chart now. Boom. You're in for a treat. Our 4-hour charts that we have right here. This template provides different harmonic patterns. Now, harmonic patterns are like bearish guard, as we see right here, we have bearish Gartleys, bullish, bearish butterflies. I don't really do Gartleys that much, so I'll leave that up to you all to be able to research those on the pattern and how to trade those if you would like to. But right here, we're just doing relative price action. So, but this is the benefit of this software that you're going to get by this helping you out kind of recognize patterns a little bit better, more than what you would just see on an initial snapshot. So we'll X out of this, and then we're going to go right to where we are right now. So just to be clear, how these things are determined based on the pattern that has been moving in. And there's a few things that we're going to look at here. Okay, so this is looked at as your starting point, your X, and then it will move from here to your A, up here to your B, your C, D, and then it's going to move down here to E. That's a horrible E. Trackpad writing though. Okay, so this is basically the movement that is looking at right here. Okay, and these things move in symmetry somewhat to be able to kind of give you a better read on what's what. So if I was to trade this Gartley right here and understanding, let me clear all of this, and understanding how this is set to move. All right, now what I would do here is this. Okay, I would zoom in, and mind you, this is a 4-hour chart, so these moves aren't going to happen immediately, but we have to look at what we have here. Okay, let's pay attention to some of the signals that we have right in front of us. Right here we have a railroad track. Okay, now again I understand that these are black candles, so you don't know if this is green red or red green and everything like that, but based on the actual movement of it, this right here will look to me as green red. So it's giving me an idea that this is going to start a downward pattern. Now if the price next, if the candle next to it closes beneath it, that's even a strong indication that it's going to be moving in a bearish pattern. When it's going to happen, that's left up to price. You cannot determine when that price is going to happen. Okay, but what I want to point out even more is the behavior of price at these quarter levels. Okay, now I'm going to do you one better, and I'm going to throw in a, where are my shapes? Insert rectangle. So I'm going to insert a couple of halfway points to even further stress where these quarter points and the halfway points, how they play into towards each other. Okay, so it's 1839. So our midpoint between 1825 and 1850 would be what? That's right, 1837.5. So if that's 1839, I'm gonna guesstimate it's gonna play the charts around here. So now let's check into that and let's get our parameters. So our rectangle probably. Bam, man, your boy is good. 1837. I'll just be more specific just for the sake of the video. Boom, 0.5. That's our halfway point between 1825 and 1850. Now, what do we see? I mean, just look at how it plays the quarters, how price plays the quarters. What do we see here? It breaks through. Now remember our support and resistance lessons, okay? It breaks through our 1850. That's our midpoint between 1800 and 1900, right? So this is our midpoint. Matter of fact, let me differentiate this real quick so we know what we're talking about. So I'll just make this a solid line, and we'll make this a little more bold so that, okay, boom. Now this is our midpoint between 1800 and 1900, right? And then we have our other two quarter levels. So now look at just how price plays the midpoint. This is why we say when you're trading quarters from one quarter to another quarter, there's a greater chance that price is going to land, stop right on the dime, or go through one of these quarter levels. So let's look at price at, let's look at market structure in play, starting from where the beginning of this Gartley started, okay? I zoom out a little bit, all right? Let's bring it over. So let's look at how it played out, okay? So we see here, now we see we got to this is what we called in between the 75 and the 1900, the overshoot area, okay? So we see it went into the overshoot area from a bearish overshoot, okay? It came right down to the 1900. It flirted with it, pushed through, closed at the 1975 exactly, try to retest and come back up. Because remember what I said, price is always going to challenge the level above it. Challenged it, successfully made it through. Didn't make it up to the 1925, lost steam, came back down. All right, and this time it barreled straight through the 1875, and then it pinned. It didn't land on it, but it pinned at the 1850, so it touched this lower level. Okay, so it tested it, wasn't strong enough to get there, came back, retested again, pushed back through, got back to the 1900, tried again. All right, and then what do we have? Again, remember our support and resistance lessons. What do I say? We have 1, 2, 3 hits to a new high, and then if it doesn't break through, it's gonna go back in the other direction. Okay, so now this was our new level of interest right here. Once it met it and it broke through. Okay, this was 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, or you can even use the 1925 as that, because it tried it one time, came close the second time, missed it the third, and broke out. Okay, so now once we get here, we see again how it plays to the quarter, 1875. It closes here, tries to come back up, pin, no dice, a crossing of the 8 and the 21, and then we move away from it. Okay, so now it comes back down to the 1850. This time it successfully breaks through, and then where does it land immediately? Right on the halfway point, the 1837.5. It meets the support there. We see candle, doji, reversal signal here. But what happens once it gets back to the 1850? It seems to run out of gas. All right, so let's get this out of here. Zoom back in. So once it gets to the 1850, we see a retest 1850. Here's your breakthrough, your retest, and your continuation. All right, this is market structure in action, and we see how it just plays to the quarters specifically. This is not by design. This is just how it works. Okay, so now we break back through the 1850, and then we see here. Okay, now remember what I said also when it comes to support and resistance. What are the candles looking like when it gets to another level? Okay, so we see we had a strong breakthrough. It followed up with another strong candle, but it ran out of gas. You see your pins start forming. A reversal happens. It bolted from the 1837.5 to the 1850 with strength, but how did it close above it? It was weak. And then what do we have right after it? Dojis, indecision, no strength right now in the momentum. Then we have one last gas. Then we have a strong push back. And then what happens to it next? We start closing beneath this 1850. Now, what I say also again, once price starts closing beneath any kind of midway point, it's a great indication that it's going to continue on in that direction. So what happens? We have another try at it, no dice, pin, and here we go. Another strong push back to the midway point, and then the next candle barrels through, strong Maribozu candle, right down to the next quarter, 1825. And what does it do? It hangs around for a little while to see what's happening, because these institutions like trading on even numbers. So it's going to be a greater chance that these prices are going to meet up at these quarter levels. Okay, tries to push down as a pin. It looks like a nice doji right here, showing a reversal sign, reversal signal, but it has no strength to do it. Okay, it doesn't. And what happens at this quarter point? It's closing what? Beneath the quarter. All right, and then what happens again? All the way back down to the 1800. Okay, it's trying again, comes back down to 1800, and what do we have? It closes right on the 1800. It pins past it, but the close is what's more important. Not the pin, but the close. That's how you judge whether or not this is going to either find, if it's at really finding support, or this is just a stopping point to try to break through. All right, so found the support on 1800, had a good railroad track if this was color, okay, and then we're back up to the 1825. It went strong there, ran out of gas a little bit, started closing above it, but it wasn't strong candles. We got a pin back to the halfway point between 25 and 30 and 50 was 37.5, and then we come back away from it. But what do we have here? It's creating higher lows. Okay, so now that we have a higher high off of this bottoming me out right here, it started getting a higher high and higher lows. Now we have to pay attention to that. Okay, again, another crossing of the 8 and the 21 here off of this bear bullish engulfing right here, bolting through a strong Maraboozle going through, and this is probably a halfway point right here too. Let me get this cursor. I bet you this is right here at the 1812.5 or somewhere in that region. Let me get the cursor here and see what we got. Where's the 1812.5? 1812.5 is right here, and what do we have? It plays the quarters, man. I'm not making this up. Okay, this is all of May that we're looking at right here. This is from May, from the beginning of May up until today. And today is May 23rd, 2022. Okay, so let me get rid of this, and I want you to guys just pay attention. So we have a strong Maraboozle breaking through the 1825, and then another follow-up candle getting through the midway point between 25 and the 50. And then what do we have? What's happening at the halfway point? What are we saying? It's closing where? Above or below the midway point? Above. So what's that a great indication of? Being that it already tested the 1850 once, twice already. It already tested it. And that all these candles are closing above. Now this right here could have threw you off. Let me circle this right here, because this is what you got to be wary of, and this is how you have to kind of make sure that you're reactive and not trying to dictate what's going to happen. So this right here, if this was in color, I guarantee you anybody would have probably tried to jumped in right here and saw this was one hit, two hits, but you have an evening star looking pattern right here. Because I guarantee this is probably bearish. I can't tell you what it's going to be, but you have a doji, and then you have a bullish. Bullish, doji, bearish. Okay, a lot of people probably would have got faked out by this move, but if you would have took them looking at the grand scheme of things to see exactly where this would have played out as far as the quarters go, you might have been hesitant just to wait to see what the next candle would have done. And as you see right here, that next candle came right back, bounced right off of this, found support here, bounced right off of this, and continued on its way up. All right, but now the reason why I think that this is turned into a bearish looking pattern right now, because of the fact of how this is playing out against the TDI RSI. So we had a shark fin here with here, and we had another one. Both of these stayed outside the volatility bands, but this next one that's higher up, that's probably at the 62.5 right now, that peaked out at 62.5, and that's the midway point between the 50 and the 75. Where am I 625 at? 625 right here. Well, right there, around. So that's at 625, and we see what? It peaked right at the 625 and came back down. So I'm guessing it's going to test the 62.5 again, and if it closes underneath it again, there's a good chance that it's going to be on the way down. But being that price action and market structure always challenges the level above it, that's probably what it's doing right now, because we see another reversal pattern starting to try to form, where we have a bullish, doji, and probably a bearish 4-hour candle right here that's going to signify some kind of reversal going back in the bullish direction. But I want to see, my guesstimate is, so let's bring this up here. Can I grab this? No. Where's the, okay, boom. So let's bring this up here now. Let's play the 625 game. Okay? So now, here's our new midway point between the 50, the 1850 and 1875. We're at 625 right here. Okay? This is our midway point between these two quarters. I'm interested in seeing what my guess is going to do. Let me get my annotation device. So my guess is going to do is either going to push here, meet some more resistance, and then come back down past the 50, possibly to the 8375. All right. And now if it closes around the 8375 here, then there's a good chance it may come back down a little further, because now what we could do here, let me erase this, is, some people probably watch and say, why you didn't do it already? Because I'm trying to let you understand that just off the quarter level theory, you can look at market structure and base your analysis solely off of this. You see, I didn't talk about the TDI that much in RSI. These EMAs are just here to signify which directional bias the pattern is going in, and then everything. So what I could do is I could throw a fib on here from my lowest point just up to here, if this is going to be our top right here, and then see if it does respect the 625, then it'll probably retrace down to, and you see how right here, if this was where the highest point that it went to, this is what I was saying in the earlier videos or in the other videos that I have on the course. Sometimes these quarter levels line up perfectly with your retracement levels. Okay, now we see here the 1825. I didn't script this. You saw me do this from the beginning. The 1825 and the 50, the halfway point, and what we say our golden ratio is from the 50 to the 618. This is our golden ratio right here, where you can start looking for reversals off of some kind of retracement. So if this happens, if this pattern, if price respects this pattern, then you should expect some kind of reversal to either come down to around the 1825 from the 625, or probably around, again right here, the 38.2. We just had the 375 right here land. These candles here landed on the 375, and we see this lines up perfectly right with that also. So it could retrace back to here, or it could retrace down here, or if it does another deep retracement right here to 618, and then continue on. All right, so that would be my guess. So let me just draw this out real quick, and then we won't go. So I am going to hold you anymore. So again, my guess is that it's either going to meet resistance here somewhere, maybe throw some kind of signal, some kind of crazy pin on your regular charts, and then come back down past the 50 to at least the 375, and possibly down to the 1825 before it gathers itself and continues on up. All right, it's not going to look like that, I promise you that, because the price never moves in a straight line. But this is just my guess, if this is going to respect this pattern. And if not, this is going to break through here, test the 1875, and if it doesn't get here, then is a good possibility of the meeting this resistance there and coming back down, and possibly getting, you know, somewhere probably a little further up based on where the fibs may have to move to. All right, so I will look at the points of interest would probably be definitely the 1875 to see what it does there. I will see if it reaches here and how it reacts to it. If it doesn't reach 1875, there's not a complete quarter. And then, because remember, it's coming from the 1800. So if it doesn't reach the 1875, it's not a complete quarter. It's probably going to reverse, retrace some, and come back down, gather its strength again, and give it another good shot. But remember, it could take up to 3 different tries for it to go after this this level 1875 or the 625 before it retraces. Remember that 3 hits to the new high and then it retraces. Okay. But yeah, excuse me. That's basically gold in a nutshell, and you can transpose these levels on all of the prices that we have above it and below it. Just remember your 25, 50, 75, and your double zeros. And your midway points are your 12.5, 37.5, 625, and then your 87.5 also. All right, between the 75 and the double zero. Okay, so there's midway points and there's halfway points and there's quarters that you see price respects. Can't make it any plainer than this. Price respects your quarters. So that's why I admonish people to learn the quarter level theory and see how this thing plays out. Okay, so now with that, it's your boy Safe James. Don't forget, if you're interested in learning more, there's information in abundance here for you to justify your decision on why you should be rocking with us. Anyway, we'll catch you next time. Enjoy the rest of the website. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Peace.